All right, let's make noise that they can hear at the foot of the mountains. They hear up at the Brisbane Broncos down in Melbourne, but more importantly over at Bondi Junction. How are you going? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the symbol of the South Sydney Rabbitohs, Reggie Rabbit. South Sydney, 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 South Sydney. Ladies and gentlemen, give Reggie a big hand, please. You know the lifeblood of any great club is its junior system, and today the juniors are playing. We have the Harold Matts playing at Erskineville Oval at 1:30, and then at 3 o'clock the SG Ball side. Reggie needs to get over to Erskineville. It's not easy being a rabbit, is it, Reggie? Hey, a busy man. So please give him a big hand. He'll wander around, then he'll have to disappear. Thank you. South Sydney. Whoa, big ears. Give him a hand. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the juniors for the launch of this special occasion. The Rabbitohs Road to 21, yeah! I'm going to bring on our special guest in a moment, but please put your hands together and thank Keith McCraw, the President, the Chairman of South of the Juniors, and his Board of Directors. Once again, excelled, Keith. Good on you. Ladies and gentlemen, my name's Stephen Sim. I'm not Ray Martin. Now, unfortunately, Ray had to go overseas. He was going to be your MC. He was looking forward to the role here today. He's been a great supporter of South's, but Channel 9 sent him overseas. I think it's to East Timor on a special assignment. So they asked if we could get Stephen Sim to fill in. Ladies and gentlemen, it's great to be here, and thank you for welcoming me so much. All right, thank you. I just want to tell you about who I am, because it does relate to what we're doing here today. I was at the South's launch on Thursday night, over at Randwick Racecourse, and you'd be so proud of the players and the club, just the dignified way in which it was all put on. South Sydney has certainly come of age. But we went through our tiring times, didn't we? Now, my background is I played lower grade football for Parramatta. I then was on the board of directors of the North Sydney Bears in the early 1990s. I got David Hill involved and we turned the club around. Like South Sydney, North Sydney were wrongfully removed from the competition at the end of the 1999 season by people who did not have the best interest of the game at heart. Do you agree? Come on, let's make some noise. I was doing the marketing work at North Sydney as a director, as a marketing director in years leading up to it. Remember at North Sydney Oval, we used to have a band playing at home games. We had the Golden Oldies games. I used to put all that together. In 2001, George and Nolene rang me and said, Steve, would you come over and work for us? We're taking on the richest man in the world. We need these functions, these events. We've just got to keep ticking. We've got to raise the money. With North Sydney, they took away a club. And to most North Sydney supporters, that's what happened. They took away their football club. It was bad, it was wrong. I come to South Sydney, I start mixing and mingling with you people. They didn't take away the South Sydney Rabbitohs, they took away your lives. And that was so wrong of any organisation to do that, and do it so wrongfully, and do it just for greed. Do you agree with me, ladies and gentlemen? You see where I'm coming from? I met so many wonderful people in my time here. People such as Nick Pappas, who was defending or fighting the richest man in the world in the courts on your behalf. Give him a big welcome. I'll bring him on officially. People like Jimmy Hatfield. Jimmy here. Stand up. Jimmy Hatfield, who's on the board. I'm not going to name everybody. I can just see a few of them. When Bosler's here, stand up. This is the Tiger Lady, folks. Stand up. She is the Tiger Lady from Balmain. When every function you had, she was always there. The marches, she was there with John Booth. The people from Newcastle sent truckloads, busloads down to the marches, to the rallies. Canterbury were at every function. We must not forget that. You know, it's very important to know where we're at today, to know what we've been through, because when Sam Burgess fell to his knees, crying his eyes out with 2 minutes to go in that grand final, Sam, in his period here, had come to learn the culture, the struggle, for what you and everybody had been through. And that tears of joy weren't just for winning the grand final, it was the celebration for what you'd all come through. So please put your hands together and thank Sam Burgess. That was a symbolic moment. I could talk forever and ever. There's Barbara and Marcia. You hear Barbara and Marcia, the volunteers, Simone, and all the other people at the football club that kept it alive during those times. At the launch, our new CEO said that South Sydney Rabbitohs are now the 3rd biggest sporting brand in Australia behind the Collingwood Magpies. Yeah, that's fantastic. Now, that has grown from the operational skills, not only marketing, but also you've won over the support of people like me, North Sydney Bears, and other people who were so wrongfully treated and joined you in the fight. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just so proud to be here and be asked to be your Master of Ceremonies today. Now, what I want to do, big hand, please. I want to acknowledge some people who are here. Now, I haven't got a list just of who is here. Ladies and gentlemen, will you please welcome the Mayor of Randwick, Councillor Ted Singh. Stand up, please, Ted. All great supporters of the Rabbitohs. The federal member for Kingston Smith, Matt Thistlewaite, isn't it, Matt? Yeah? Where you are, good on you, champ. Cole Whelan is here. Now, where are you, Cole? At the back there? This is the best, no, that's not Cole Whelan. You're here somewhere, Cole. The best rugby league photographer in the world is here today. Good on you, Cole. Thank you. Give Cole a big hand. We have numerous players who have played for South over the years, captains. Among them, I saw Bobby Grant. Where are you, Bob? Stand up, please, sir. Bob, here he is, Bobby Grant. Bobby Grant has on his mantelpiece something that you and I don't have. He has 3 premiership winning medals, ladies and gentlemen, for the mighty Rabbitohs. Just looking out here next to Bobby, Daryl Bampton, stand-up champion. Other people too numerous to mention, but good on you, Daryl. Been at the helm of South for many, many years. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please, also Deirdre Grusman here. Deirdre, where are you? Someone said you're up the back. Good on you, Deirdre. Give her a big hand. Apologies if I missed anybody there, but someone please slip your note and I'll acknowledge them later on proceedings. Bobby McMillan's here. Where are you, Bobby? Stand up, champion. Bobby. Oh, over there. Good on you, Bobby. Champion. Most important, the biggest VIPs here today are you people, the supporters. You know what? You are the army that keeps South Sydney alive. You are the power base of the greatest powerful club in rugby league on the planet. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome here to the launch of the Rabbitohs Road to 21. In doing so, please keep going as we welcome our official party. Ladies and gentlemen, the chairman of the mighty South Sydney Rabbitohs, Nick Pappas. The chairman of the juniors, and I've known him for a long time. I actually played football with this gentleman, and he was a very good player, let me tell you. Ladies and gentlemen, Keith McCraw. And finally, how about we stand, give a big warm welcome to the author of the South Rabbitohs Road to 21, Mr. Brad Ryder. Ladies and gentlemen, you look, what a fantastic audience it is here today. So proud to be here. Would you please give a big welcome, and in doing so, let's just put that little extra spark and muscle in the applause because of the success of the mighty South Sydney Rabbitohs, and welcome their chairman, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Nick Pappas.
Well, what a introduction. Thank you, Steve. As Steve mentioned, we go back a long way. In those dark days, Steve came and gave us some great assistance with organising events. He'd be a very familiar face to all Rabbitohs supporters. So, Steve, it's great to have you with us today for this very important launch. Keith will be officially launching the book, but I'm touched that Brad has asked me to say a few words. This is the place we used to come to in those dark days between 1999 and 2002 to be reinvigorated. We used to stand on the stage and tell you the progress of the court case, the progress of the street marches. And I remember George and I commenting that if you wanted to see the resilience, if you wanted to see the power of South Sydney, it was in this room. And it hasn't changed. And it's a place of great humility, but of great underlying strength. And if we ever want to be reminded where South Sydney resides, we step into this place. So Keith, it's a credit to you, to your board, to your members, to our wonderful supporters in the room, that this place is here. It's a successful place, it's our source of strength, and will always remain that way. When the Roman armies would go into battle, they'd always take with them someone to record events. And in the evenings, back in their tents, they'd get that person to recount the events of the day while they listened eagerly to their stories of their own exploits. We've got one of those. We've got him in Ryder. Brad is our chronicler par excellence. He's journeyed with us every step of the way. He's been but a step behind us, whether it was in the public protests or on the road to 21. And he's unfailingly recorded those moments for you to enjoy and relive and pass down to your children. Because we want no one to forget what this club went through and what this club has achieved. And it's done that largely through the support of its members and supporters. The power of the rabbit is unbelievable. It surprises me every day. Walking around the ground at St Helens just a few nights ago after our fantastic triumph, I saw banners from all over the world. I posted one on Facebook because I was just so amazed. There was a group who'd come from Leipzig in Germany, 20 people, South Sydney supporters, only one of them from Australia, but the others were all Germans, and they'd come to watch South playing St Helens. I couldn't believe it, but it was real. And there were similar examples around the ground, people who journeyed all the way from Australia, people who'd come from across England, people who'd come from France. So our brand is a very strong one, and you should be very proud of that, because as I said, this is where it resides. I'm not going to say more about the book. You all know Brad. We honoured him with life membership because of his resilient, purposeful and humble love of our club and for everything that he's achieved. So on behalf of my board, on behalf of our investors, on behalf of all our members, I'd like to congratulate Brad for this achievement. Brad, we're going to get more books out of you because there's more successes on the way. This is not the end. I'm hoping for a trilogy. But above all, echoing Steve's words, I'd just like to thank everyone in the room for your undying loyalty to our club. We've got great plans ahead for 2015 and beyond. We've got great stars in the making coming up through the juniors ranks. The future is very bright for our club. And for that, I thank each and every one of you. Up the Rabbitohs.
Give him a big hand. Nick Pappas. Nick Pappas, the chairman. Ladies and gentlemen, I welcomed you and I welcomed some special guests. We also had some apologies and of course First of all, Ray Martin, who dearly wanted to be here, but he's been sent away overseas by Channel 9. Joyce Churchill was coming, but very late notice she had to pull out. She's not feeling all the best, but she's in good health. Ian Heads, remember the great Ian Heads? Rugby league rider. Give him a hand, Gwen, you are so right. I love men of steel, men of conviction. And also the great Bobby McCarthy and Mario Fennick had to go out west for the NRL today. So give them a big hand if you would, please. I spoke earlier on about some of the people I met in the journey when I was working at South. Your commitment, your passion, it was just breathtaking. Such nice people, people who you'd go to war with. People of spirit, of good heart, humble people. But there's none more than this gentleman I'm about to bring on. What a beautiful man, ladies and gentlemen. I treasured every moment I spent at South, spending time with Brad, going through the records, and he is as he was appointed your official historian back in the late 1990s, I believe it was, Brad, and maintaining the records for the history for future generations. He's furthered that by publishing this book today, which has been released and will soon be officially released by Keith in a few moments. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please welcome the author, Mr. Brad Ryder.
Isn't it great to be a Rabbitoh? I didn't realise I had such a big family. Wonderful family, all of you, all my friends and family, fantastic. Well, what a march. Honestly, it was a year ago at the season launch. This is a true story. I said to Nick over here, I said, Nick, I've got a funny feeling we might win this year. And I said, if we do, I'll do the sequel to They Wear the Red and Green. So Nick said, well, go ahead and write it, just in case. Well, I didn't write it, but I spent all year preparing for it. Then when we won the grand final, I spent a week doing some very serious beer tasting, as we all did. And then I hit the computer and worked around the clock some nights to get it done, because I knew we had this date earmarked ages ago. And here we are today. I'd like to thank you all for coming. As Nick said, you're all very special people, and it's the members that make the club great. I saw another bloke walk in today, played in the 1967 grand final. He played the second half. His name is Greg Norgard. You there, Greg? He was there somewhere. Greg? Greg. Yeah. And I sent my apologies yesterday to the Ivan Jones funeral. Greg attended that, and I just couldn't get there yesterday because I was just too busy doing for this. Gee, I've lost words now. So the book came out this week, and I hope, or I'm sure you'll enjoy reading it. And I stood on this stage 5 years ago, actually, at the launch of my first book, They Wear the Red and Green. And I said, if we ever win a premiership, I'd like to think that They Wear the Red and Green took some part. Well, I've only got one regret. I wish I had said when we win a premiership. And this year, I also said actually in the book, this is 5 years ago, that I'm not greedy. One will do me, just one. Well, guess what? I like the taste. I've got the taste for it. I'm greedy. Yeah. And it was in this room on the grand final night. I went up to Nick over there. Must have been about 2:30 in the morning or something. I said, Nick, how good was that? He simply says, Brad, it's just the beginning. So if we do win this year, when we do win this year, I'll write a short story called Number 22, Rabbitohs Go Back to Back. Yeah. Thank you. First of all, statistics at the back of the book done by Michael Curran. Michael, where are you?
Yeah.
So I want you to meet Michael. Stand up, Michael. Absolutely extraordinary statistician. And I'd like to thank my wife, Mrs. Yvonne Ryder, the life memberess. Up, stand up, Yvonne, don't be shy, darling. Thank you for putting up with me. I know it's rather bewildering, but yes, I do love you more than South by 0.25%.
Come on, big hand for Brad Ryder. I'm going to call Keith McCraw now, the chairman of the juniors, to officially launch the book. But as I said at the top end of this afternoon, I've known Keith since what, about 1969, 70, Keith, thereabouts. I knew your dad well. We used to play, I worked in the customs industry, and I was the captain coach of the customs agent side. If I could self-indulge, Greg, were you the captain in 1971 of the third grade side that won the comp? I think you were. I played against you in the minor semi-final of the cricket ground. Good on you, champion. Wasn't funny playing at 10 o'clock in the morning, let me tell you. Ladies and gentlemen, Keith was a fabulous footballer, so dedicated to rugby league, so dedicated to South. And I heard, when I came to South and found Keith was I think he was the vice chairman at that stage of the juniors, I thought this club is in safe hands. He's a man of action. Normally wears a suit. Today he's dressed ready to go and support the juniors over at Erskineville Oval. To launch the book, would you please give a big rousing juniors welcome to your chairman, Mr. Keith McCraw.
Thanks very much, Steve. Steve, if ever you get the opportunity to introduce me again, I'm going to make sure I bring my wife. Hear all those nice things you say about people. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the board and all of us here, our 45,000 members here at the juniors, welcome, warm welcome to you along on this special day. It's a real honour to launch this book. No one can replace Ray Martin, I know, but I think Nick opening there and the work that Steve's done, I know how he prepares, and Brad's Brad. He's special. We're so lucky that we've got him with us. And he's with this book, The Road to 21. I received it on Wednesday night, and so I had a crash course in getting through it. And let me tell you, it's a great read. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and you know, it's one of those ones when you start, you know, it's going to be a happy ending. But you know, I say, as Nick rightly said, when Tommy Brock passed, one of the great legacies that Darryl Bampton left our club was that, and Darryl was good at this, in putting good people into in areas where they could support the club, and he was the one, and to my memory serves me correctly, that got Brad into this, and I know, Brad, that Tom Brock would be resting very easily today knowing that the work that Brad Ryder does on behalf of this mighty football club. Thank you. As Nick said, Brad was rightly rewarded with life membership back in 2013. And, for a whole host of reasons, he's just a wonderful resource. I know that you know, through the staff at the club, through the management, media, they're always in touch with him. I think it'd be what a great occasion it would be to have a South Sydney Rabbitohs trivia night. You wouldn't need Google. I'd buy a table and I'd put Brad Ryder sitting right next to me. We'd be specials. And I think too that in relation to resourcing and feedback, I'd like to think the day will come when Russell, he did a great job with the water diviner, but I'd love to see a little bit more done, because there's a few more chapters in the pride of the league. I know a lot of us have got that pride of the league, but when we're talking about you know, continuing the story, I think that'd be absolutely outstanding. As I say, it was a wonderful summary of the 5 season, and it took me back, you know, even through the interviews and quotes verbatim. You remember recalled Minicello when Anthony Minicello was retiring, and I rang Mark Ellison. I was in Central Australia at the time, and I rang him. I said, "Hello, who organised that for the boys to form their guard of honour for Mini?" And he said, "Keith, I promise you it was the boys themselves." So there was just a class act, and Brad's captured that in the book as well. The victory laps. Now, when you think about that victory laps, they'd always go anti-clockwise. You ever take our mind back? But our boys went clockwise, wasn't it, Brad? They went clockwise. Why? Because they wanted to make sure they went to the burrow last. They saved the best for last. All those great supporters, they went down and they all waited. I was there that night with my adult family. All my kids are all grown up now. Thank the Lord, you've seen a premiership. I didn't know if we were ever going to. And as Nick said, that the times that were in this room, I was fortunate enough to be delegated back then to be the conduit between the juniors and Group 14. I know there's some wonderful people, Deirdre at the back there, Don Lane, the Lessings, Steve McDermott, Ray Martin, Andrew Den, Jimmy Hatfield. There's so many good people that I met during that period that never gave up. I don't know how many of us thought we'd win it, Nick, but certainly with Nick's leadership there, we got over the line, and thank the Lord we did. And I'd like to just close and give you a bit of an example here of something like this. It's right toward the end of the book, but it's Chairman Nick Pappas announced. I joined with the club's senior management team, our staff and members in welcoming James Packer to the Rabbitohs family. We promised some years ago to deliver sustained on-field success, and the first chapter of that story was written on the 5th of October 2014 with the winning of our 21st premiership. We also promised to connect our great club with the highest echelons of Australian business community so that its longevity would be ensured for decades to come. This we deliver today. Our deep appreciation goes to Peter Holmes of Court for his dedication towards these goals since 2006. A number of new initiatives the Rabbitohs have embarked upon since privatisation began with Peter, and he has undoubtedly played an integral part in our transformation. I know that he will remain a devoted member and active participant in all we do. Today is the commencement of a new era for the Rabbitohs as we mark another milestone in our quest to make our club the benchmark in Australian sport in terms of success both on and off the field and through the community engagement. I look forward to working with James, Russell and our devoted members to make this happen. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that was the announcement that James Packer had come on board with South. And there's one thing I remember Nick saying years ago was that, and Richo the same, and I must acknowledge Richo. I've been very fortunate, and that's my 10th year as chairman of South Juniors, to coincide with the leadership that Nick's provided there, the management of Richo, and everything associated with it. But I've been very fortunate. But what they did say they were going to bring, they were going to make South Sydney a top 4 club and bring the big end to town. And I just don't think they get any bigger than James Packer. So, ladies and gentlemen, as I said, it's a great read. Thank you very much for coming. I think it's warming to see so many people in this room supporting Brad Ryder. And Yvonne, thank you very much. Take care. Up the Rabbitohs. I'm off to work until Oval, but let me assure you there are plenty more first graders going around. A few more Adam Reynolds, Dylan Walkers, Alex Johnsons, they're all coming through.
Keith McCraw, ladies and gentlemen. All righty. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our proceedings today. But before we do, just one last thing that I was reminded of there. I was out at the grand final. They did the clockwise march so they could finish up at the Burrow. Then I went home, and as you do, at 12 o'clock I opened up a bottle of red wine and I watched the replay just to make sure we did actually win the premiership. And guess what? We did. I still wasn't convinced after getting so many years of dud referee decisions. So at 3 o'clock I looked for a bottle of green wine. Couldn't find it, so I opened up another red and watched it again. What a moment. And what a great moment today, ladies and gentlemen. The book has been sold over there. So if you'd like to buy the book at Books Plural for your friends, great present, and then Brad will be over here to sign them. I'm Stephen Sim on behalf of Keith McCraw and the entire board at the Juniors. Thank you for being here today and enjoy the balance of your weekend. Thank you.
South Sea.